$17 billion taxpayer money is gone, Obama corruption lawsuit, America demands answers. We might want to imagine that fines and harms forced at the determination of a trial would help the casualties, and in addition, go about as an impediment to different culprits. Shockingly, it doesn't generally work that way. For example, Barack Obama tags along and all of a sudden, defilement jumps up in our legislature, the confirmation of which has been becoming known as far back as Obama left office. Presently, a claim has been recorded to uncover an alleged slush fund Obama set up under the sponsorship of the Department of Justice to channel cash from lawful settlements to leftist gatherings. These gatherings likely wouldn't have gotten subsidizing from Congress, so it appears our previous leader found another approach to develop his liberal motivation. Via Judicial Watch. Judicial Watch today announced that it has filed a Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, lawsuit against the United States Department of Justice for records relating to the Obama administration's policy of settling agency lawsuits against corporate defendants by requiring that corporations make donations to left-wing interest groups LARASA, the Urban League and the National Community Reinvestment Coalition. Judicial Watch submitted its FOIA request in the aftermath of a comprehensive investigation by the House Judiciary and Financial Services Committee that found that the Obama Department of Justice was engaged in a pattern or practice of systematically subversive budgeting of Congress by using settlements from financial institutions to funnel money to left-wing activist groups. Here's a case of Obama obviously endeavoring to surpass even the Clintons in the act of corruption. While the policy was officially ended last week by Attorney General Jeff Sessions, questions remain about the groups that received money from settlements. According to Investors Business Daily, and just a $17 billion settlement with the Bank of America, the Obama administration has funneled money to LARASA, a far-left Latino organization that is known for pressuring banks to give loans to low-income Hispanics. National Community Reinvestment Coalition, one of the top lobbying groups supporting the Community Reinvestment Act, a 1977 piece of legislation that is a favorite of the left. Operation Hope, a group from South Central in Los Angeles, it pressures banks to give dignity loans to individuals who otherwise would not qualify. Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America, a group whose leader called himself a bank terrorist, something that's apparently a lot more acceptable since the days of Patty Hearst. So that is $17 billion misled to leftist associations. That is a really decent racket he has going there, and that is only one illustration. Luckily, Judicial Watch is looking into it, despite the fact that it stays to be seen what kind of solutions for these offenses can be requested, or whether Mr. Obama and his associates in the Justice Department will be considered responsible for these offenses. In any case, in any event, we can breathe easy because of the way that it is being uncovered and that Attorney General Sessions has conveyed this terrible practice to an end. Unbelievable. Obama made his return to the politics and did the unthinkable last night. It's been months since he left the White House, but Barack Obama just can't seem to let go of the spotlight. He has kept his foot in the door in politics and has publicly criticized President Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Daily Mail reported that Obama resurfaced once again on Thursday night to headline a fundraiser for the National Democratic Redistricting Committee. The event was held at a private home in Washington, D.C. The goal of the event was to raise money to fund the electoral battles in the next year, an effort to control the redistricting efforts scheduled to take place after the 2020 census. It was attended by House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi and former Attorney General Eric Holder. The NRDC was created back in January and is actively run by Holder. Restoring fairness to our democracy by advocating for fairer, more inclusive district maps around the country is a priority for President Obama, said Kent Lewis, Obama's spokesman. It's clear Trump is not paying Donald Trump the respect of a traditional transition of leadership. This is absolutely disgraceful. Do you agree? Jerry Brown is nervous. See what judge just took away from California. We've gotten so used to liberal judges hindering the executive order of Donald Trump and also conservative legislation, that we're stunned when one standard predictable with our Constitution. There are conservative judges out there who adore the first purpose of the creators of our Constitution and its Bill of Rights. What's more, with President Trump in the White House, there are probably going to be significantly later on as he makes legal arrangements amid his residency. California may be overpowering be a liberal state, yet elected judges are not named by the states, and are not liable to state governments. They are a piece of the government courts, so when they make a decision that the state's leaders don't care for, there's nothing they can do other than making their voices listened, or, contingent upon the conditions, take an interest in an interest of the choice. Steady with its liberal predisposition, the territory of California is firmly restricted to Second Amendment rights. Subsequently, the administrators effectively seek after enactment to encroach on those rights as ensured by the Constitution. In any case, a government judge just issued an order keeping the implementation of a California law that would encroach on the privilege of the natives to keep and remain battle-ready. A federal judge granted a preliminary injunction Thursday preventing California from enforcing its gun magazine confiscation law. U.S. District Judge Roger T. Benitez said that the law, which prohibits possession of a magazine with a capacity exceeding 10 rounds of ammunition, is likely to violate the Second Amendment rights of the plaintiffs in the suit. As a result, he ordered the state to immediately cease enforcing the law, pending further legal developments. The court does not lightly enforce a state statute, even on a preliminary basis, Benitez said in the ruling. However, just as the court is mindful that a majority of California voters approved Proposition 63 and that the government has a legitimate interest in protecting the public from gun violence, it is equally mindful that the Constitution is a shield against tyranny of a majority. That announcement by the court should be put on boards around this nation. A larger part of California residents is not engaged to abbreviate the opportunities of different Californians that are ensured to them by our U.S. Constitution. The federal judge continued, if this injunction does not issue, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of otherwise law-abiding citizens will have a untenable choice, become an outlaw or dispossess one's own lawfully acquired property, he wrote in the ruling. That's a choice they should not have to make. Not on this record. Not surprisingly, California's Attorney General is not happy. Proposition 63 was overwhelmingly approved by voters to increase public safety and enhance security in a sensible and constitutional way, Becerra said in a statement on the ruling. I will defend the will of the California voters because we cannot continue to lose the innocent lives due to gun violence. There's a great deal that could be said in regards to the Lawyer General's announcement, however one call attention to if he is so worried about losing honest lives in California, maybe as opposed to condensing the privileges of the subjects to safeguard themselves, he should execute a forceful program of coordinating with government immigration and customs enforcement authorities to free the condition of illicit settlers. All things considered, he did say he was worried in regards to the welfare of blameless Californians, isn't that right? Caught. Guess who let the Clintons free 4 times in past 20 years? It's not who you think. It's been said that reality can remain all alone, that it takes a legislature to keep up a falsehood. Maybe there is something to that, however. Given the capable and degenerate interests inside government, truth can some of the time require some assistance in getting seen for what it is. Simply take a gander at the affirmations of voter fraud, alleged meddling by the Russians, and asserted obstruction by the FBI in the current races. The stories have changed such a large number of times in the course of recent months that it's justifiable when individuals essentially don't recognize what to make of it. This would be the situation with the changing stories encompassing previous FBI Director Comey. Did he bolster the Trump campaign? The Clinton campaign? Both? Not one or the other? For reasons unknown, it might simply be that he was supporting his own particular cause and consequently did whatever was important to profit himself. The Gateway Pundit informs us that former FBI Director James Comey was involved in at least 4 different Clinton scandals, and in all cases he let them off. This would be a case of the overwhelming issue of the politicization of legal authorization. Obliterating, in that it annihilates the general population's regard for the law. Comey's first encounter with Clintons was in 1996. Comey reportedly dug into allegations that the Clintons took part in a fraud linked to Arkansas real estate venture gone bust. No charges were ever brought against either Clinton. Comey next was involved with the Clintons when in the early 2000s when he was involved in both ends of the case of Marc Rich, a billionaire oil trader accused of tax fraud and trading with Iran during the captive crisis, who was later pardoned by President Bill Clinton during his final day in office in 2001. The investigations concluded that there was no wrongdoing on the part of the president, despite public outcry over the evidence that Rich's ex-wife donated to Hillary Clinton's Senate campaign. Comey's third encounter with the Clintons came before the 2016 presidential election. Hillary Clinton set up a private email server that she used when Secretary of State under the Obama administration. Through a series of events, Hillary's email system was discovered and the FBI and Comey were involved. One question that needed to be answered was whether Hillary's actions with her emails led to gross negligence with national defense information, which would be a serious crime according to the Espionage Act of 1913. On June 27, Bill Clinton met with U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch in her plane in Arizona for half an hour. Comey never commented on this meeting, but within a week Lynch's Department of Justice dropped the investigation into Hillary's emails and the FBI's Comey made the announcement. And here is number 4. Comey served as general counsel at Lockheed Martin until 2010, when he left with over $6 million to show for it. That same year, Lockheed Martin became a member of the Clinton Global Initiative and won 17 contracts from the United States State Department, which was led by then-Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Big League Politics reports. Comey just happened to join the board of the British bank HSBC Holdings in 2013, which just happens to be a Clinton Foundation partner. What is urgently required is one extensive investigation concerning Mr. Comey's associations and collaborations with the Clintons coming full circle with his time as FBI director. In the event that this investigation was led straightforwardly and forcefully, the bring down of Mr. Comey may at long last be the connection that brings the Clintons down too. That is, giving truth gets some assistance in getting over the clamor of lies so it can be grasped by the American individuals for what it is. Another Democrat corruption trial just erupts, the media is silent. Democrat New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez is confronting a corruption trial for his association with a specialist who purportedly dedicated Medicaid fraud. The media is excessively bustling, fixating on Trump's tweets, making it impossible to try and investigate this. Judge rejects co-defendants' demand to postpone Menendez corruption trial. A government judge in New Jersey on Thursday rejected a Florida specialist's motion to defer his and Senator Weave Menendez's DNJ September corruption trial, New Jersey Advance Media detailed. Lawyers for Dr. Salomon Meldrum, an eye specialist who has convicted in a government court in Florida a month ago of 67 tallies of Medicaid fraud, asked U.S. Area Judge William Walz a week ago to postpone his and Menendez's trial until October. In the New Jersey federal court case, Meldrum and Menendez are confronting corruption accusations, with prosecutors charging that Meldrum gave the New Jersey Democrat about $1 million in campaign donations and free treks in return for government-related favors. Menendez, who has served in the Senate since 2006, has argued not blameworthy for the situation. Dividers beforehand denied asks for by Menendez's lawyers to postpone the trial until October. Is it a lot to request CNN and other liberal media outlets to investigate this? They can't be irritated. What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comment section below.